What if I told you one family's darkest secret could bring an entire empire to its knees? A curse woven into the fabric of their existence, handed down like an heirloom, generation after generation. Intrigued? I promise, by the end of this story, you'll be questioning everything you ever believed about fate, power, and human ambition. This is the story of the cursed bloodline that toppled a dynasty, a secret hidden in plain sight for centuries. Let's dive in. Our story begins in the shadowy corners of medieval Europe. The year is 1347, the setting, the glittering court of the Valois Dynasty in France. The Valois were a family of bold rulers, their kingdom one of the most powerful of its time. But power often comes with a price. Whispers of a strange curse haunting the Valois family first surfaced during the reign of King Philip VI, the dynasty's founder. It's said that an old mystic, shunned and insulted by the royal family, left a parting gift, a prophecy that their bloodline would be plagued by destruction and insanity. Skeptical, so were many, at first. Fast forward to the reign of Charles VI, a descendant of Philip VI, and the curse comes alive. Known to history as Charles the Mad, Charles VI's story could rival any Shakespearean tragedy. Initially, Charles was everything one could hope for in a king, charismatic, intelligent, and adored by his people. But in 1392, something snapped. Midway through a peaceful journey through the French countryside, Charles inexplicably lashed out with his sword, attacking his own guards. Then came the bizarre behaviors. Charles began to believe he was made of glass, literally terrified that he might shatter if touched. For years, his erratic behavior left France essentially leaderless, plunging the kingdom into chaos. Coincidence? Or the work of an inherited curse? You decide. But here's where it gets even more fascinating and unsettling. Each Valois ruler after Charles VI bore their own share of misfortune. Louis XI, famously paranoid, surrounded himself with astrologers and mystical amulets, fearing the curse that he was sure clung to his family like a shadow. Henry III met a gruesome end at the hands of an assassin. Catherine de' Medici, the Queen Mother of France, spent years entangled in bloody religious wars, and many whispered that the curse extended to her children too. Her son, Francis II, died mysteriously at just 16 years old. Her daughter, Marguerite, was left childless, unable to extend the bloodline. It's as if every turn these rulers took, the curse was right there, unraveling their power bit by bit. And yet, the most gripping part of this story might just be what unfolded in the final days of the Valois dynasty. By the late 16th century, the throne was occupied by Henry III, the very last Valois king. Facing mounting opposition, internal betrayal, and deadly uprisings, it became chillingly clear that the dynasty was on borrowed time. What could have saved them? A stronger military, maybe? Strategic alliances? Perhaps. But the decisions of the rulers seemed consistently doomed, as if steered by some unseen hand. Now, pause for a moment. Let me ask you, do you believe in curses? Or is this nothing more than history's way of stitching together coincidences into a compelling narrative? As modern thinkers, it's tempting to dismiss the idea entirely. But back then, these curses weren't just myths. People believed in them, shaping decisions and altering lives. Could it be that the very belief in the curse turned it into a self-fulfilling prophecy for the Valois? Something to think about. And here's where history throws yet another curveball. While researching the Valois curse, historians stumbled upon a peculiar letter from the 15th century, an anonymous warning to abandon the family's quest for power. In this letter, the writer speaks of sins unspoken and debt unpaid. Was this a reference to the mystic's curse? Or had the Valois family wronged someone in a way so profound that karma, or perhaps vengeance, caught up with them? The truth remains elusive. By the year 1589, the Valois dynasty was no more. Henry III was assassinated under mysterious circumstances, leaving the throne to Henry IV of the Bourbon family. And here's a little-known fact that sent chills down historians' spines. The Bourbon king reportedly refused to live in the Valois palace unless it was blessed by priests first, fearing that remnants of the curse lingered within its walls. And so, an empire that was once the envy of the world crumbled into history, a tale of power, ambition, and the shadow of a curse that refused to be dismissed. But here's what truly lingers. Was it destiny? A supernatural force? Or simply a series of human errors dressed up in the garb of mysticism? I'd love to hear what you think. So the next time someone tells you curses are just stories, remember the Valois. Maybe, just maybe, the past holds more mysteries than we'd like to admit. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Were the Valois victims of fate or merely architects of their own downfall? And if you enjoyed this story, there's plenty more where that came from. Hit subscribe for more forgotten tales, untold mysteries, and captivating stories that bring history to life.